Today, let's have some fun and understand the 5 V's of big data. Now, what I'll do is I will use an analogy so that it becomes very easy to understand the 5 V's. Okay. So let's say that I am a farmer and I have some rice fields with me. I have an infrastructure, the current infrastructure. And for the moment, let's assume that in order to grow more rice, water is needed. Water is the only ingredient to grow rice. Now, my objective as a farmer is to obviously produce larger yield, right? So that's why I have this infrastructure. Now, let's say that the current infrastructure allows me to get the water only 100 liters per day. So let's say the tap runs from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I collect 100 liters of water, which is my capacity, and then I can produce this much with that 100 liters of water. Now, what I will do next is we will think of ways of how to increase my production. So remember, I have to have water to produce rice. Now let's take one by one. So let's say that for some reason I can get more water from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. But I don't have the infrastructure to collect that extra water. So let's say I add capacity from outside. So if I do that, then I'm getting 200 liters of water each day. And with that 200 liters, I can obviously grow more rice. So this is good for me. Right? So what are we doing? We are trying to increase the production. And for that, we need good water. And for good water, the first one is amount. So with increase of amount in the water, I can increase my rice production. The second case is, let's say the rate of the water falling into the bucket increases, let's say by 3 times or 4 times. Again, I will not have the capacity to hold it. So I add more capacity from outside. But with more capacity from outside, I get more water and I can actually grow more rice. Okay? So number 2 is rate. If it increases, it's good for my rice. Now the third case, let's say that I am able to add more pipes which gives me some water with fertilizers. So let's say fertilizers laden water I get from these 2 tubes. Right? So again, I need to increase my capacity, so I have to get capacity from outside, but I do get more water and very good water. And with this, I can even more increase my rice production. So number 3 is many types of water. Now imagine a scenario where, let's say, somewhere upstream there has been a leakage and some impurities are getting in to my pipeline. Right? What happens? And let's say these impurities are very bad for my rice, it's actually killing them. So this is not good for me. Even if I collect it and send it over, I actually lose from it. Right? I don't gain from it. So a very important consideration is the purity of the water, or I can say accuracy of water. By accuracy, I mean purity here. And the last situation, let's say that I'm collecting this 100 liters of water, but for some reason, I am not giving it to my rice fields. I am just throwing it off or only collecting it, right? Or throwing off. So this is not a valuable resource for me to increase my production, then I'm throwing it off or I'm only collecting it. So that means the water I'm collecting needs to have some worth. Yeah. So as a farmer, I need to, if I can do all this, I will increase my production of rice, which is my main criteria. Now imagine this whole scenario from a big data concept. Yes, water is synonymous to data that your organization collect, and this is your organization. This is outside capacity, either cloud or you want to bring in some more capacity from outside, which you're building. So what is big data? When your current organization is not able to hold the data that is coming and it needs to add capacity from outside in order to hold that data, that is big data for you. So in this case, if the amount increases, that's big data for you. You have to increase your capacity. That's what the first fee is all about. Volume. Second one is rate, right? If the rate increases, your current infrastructure is not able to hold that data, you need to add capacity from outside. So what we called velocity. So that is the second fee. Next, you can get data in many forms, in Parquet format, in CSV, any format that you get. And there are many formats that you can get the data in. So if that increases, you need to add capacity also outside, from outside, and that becomes big data for you. So I would say variety. Next is the accuracy part. So if you're collecting data, if that is not accurate, you'll not be able to use it for your big data purposes. So that's what we call it veracity. And the last one, the data that you are collecting has to be worthy. So it has to be valuable or value. So volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. These are the 5 V's of big data.